Good evening, Podium Chasers. I hope you're all well. Welcome back. Me again. FRL again. The beautiful Spa yet again. So, welcome. This is a bit different for me. Obviously, I don't normally do Thursdays. This is the Formula Racing League Rookies series, where individuals that are fairly new or completely new to Formula Racing League, it's an opportunity for them to come and get involved, get used to how we do things within the Discord, how we put the race nights on, and generally, get used to the other drivers, how they drive, and where they start their journey with us. So as you can see on your screen, we are at the beautiful Spa yet again. For those that didn't watch on Tuesday, a couple of interesting facts. We know it's just over 7 kilometres in length, but the really interesting thing with Spa, as we are currently looking at the number 37 of Gianmarco Silvestri in the pits, you may have noticed there does seem to be a little bit of water falling, which is perfect. Obviously, all the rookies are going to love making sure that they have got some water on the track. It's a bit of water. Yeah, sounds good. Just wanted to check that. Sounded a bit loud on Tuesday, I did think. Smiley's in. Hello, mate. Hello, Coops. Why to be here on a Thursday, but a delightful change. Weird. Sorry, wired. It is, mate. It's good. Reason being, I'm not available tomorrow to do the Pure Sim Gear GT3's family commitments. So Chromadex, who normally does your comms on a Thursday, has very kindly offered for us to swap over. So a little bit of a treat for you guys tomorrow evening as well. So anyway, we were saying, fun fact about Spa. Spa opened its doors in 1921, and I said on Tuesday, as we're now 2022, that makes Spa 101 years old, which is the number of my car. So if anyone, you're all going to remember that in the future. If you see the 101 Ferrari flying around somewhere, probably into a wall, you'll be thinking, Coop's car is as old as Spa. Random, I know. Anyway, format for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we have got two 30-minute races. There will be a mandatory stop in each of those races where they must take tyres. Fuel is optional, I do believe, and we'll have a 15-minute qualifying session, which will kick off at 8 p.m. And then grid 2, or the grid for race 2, I believe, will be set up as the same from the qualifying session, which will certainly make it quite interesting. We have a lot to cover, a lot of drivers in this evening, so I'm going to do that now and just confirm who we have and haven't got driving with us. So bear with me one sec. You're sending me a message in there. Rinaldi Julie. Hello, Rinaldi Julie. Yep, best of luck. We'll have a look at you a bit later on. So I believe there's 36, so not many. Only 36 that are in this evening. As you can see on your left-hand side of your screen, we can run through who is currently in the server at the moment. So Silvestri is in, Terence Keenan's racing tonight, Domikos Kish is in, Serkan Duran, Marco Pizzuti, Sven Corving, I was thinking of Ericsson. Rowdy Burns is in, Mark Stewart, James Williams, Neil Woodward, Tugberg's in, Ian Thompson, Evan Martinson's going to race with us this evening, Alex Tishner, Callum Watt, Jan Humblet, probably haven't said that right, Jan, so apologies there. Rinaldi Julie, as we've just mentioned, Ryan Blanchett is in this evening, David Keane, Rokas Kaukaskas, that is I'm going to call him Rokas. Ian Lintel is in this evening, Robert Franco, Alan Brown, Samuel Disco, SJ Disco, brilliant, Michael Herbert. So they are currently in the pit lanes, that's 25. I'm expecting more to join. Standings for this evening. Sean Freeman's in, back at Spa Coops. Yeah, I love Spa. And Rowdy Burns, hi Coops. Yes, indeed. Mr. Young is in again. Good luck for the race, everybody. Good. I hope, again, a decent amount of people are going to watch this evening, because I think I actually did watch the rookies race last week with one eye, with the wife scowling at me at the same time, and it was eventful. Let's put it that way. And if we're looking at Spa, throw in some rain, it's going to be interesting. Let's get on board. Let's go on board with Mark Stewart. He's in the pits. Let's have a look at Woody in this Porsche. Let's see how he's dealing with the slippery, probably deathly conditions out there. It's brilliant though, a rookies race. I know everyone's getting used to it, and but it's massively part of racing on ACC is the weather. And we all know Spa has rather temperamental weather at the best of times, so we can't complain about that. Everyone is saying good luck, fantastic. 8 of you at the moment as Woody puts it into the wall. If you haven't said hi in the live chat, please do. No one's got a bite, and you know what to do. Press the like button, pretty please. So we're going to run through these standings as Woody goes back out. Leading the championship is Roman Nedorazov. He's not racing with us this evening in the Aston. He's on 369 points. Then we've got Domikos Kish, who is racing in his Lexus this evening in second place. He's on 334, so good opportunity for him this evening. Sergio Osorio is third in the championship on 279. Alan Brown, Fresh Brizzle, is fourth in his Aston on 250 points. Then we've got Terence Keenan, as you can see on the timings on your left, currently second quickest in free practice. He's fifth in the championship in his BMW on 226. Then we've got Blanchett is sixth in his Audi on 207. Tuckberg is seventh in his Porsche on 201. Serkan Duran is 8th in his Lambo on 178, and then Evan Martinson currently 9th in another Porsche. Nice to see some Porsches out there on 173. Adam Coop, I'm Coop, is 10th in his Beamer on 158. Mark Stewart is 11th in his Vantage on 143, and then Woody, as we're watching at the moment, is 12th in his Porsche on 140. Sven Gorving is 13th on 134, and Martin Cottrell is 14th on 108. Luke Gator is 15th on 98. Alex Tishner is 16th on 96. Chica is 17th on 95. Michael Herbert is 18th in his Audi on 81. Then we've got Alexander Pavlov is 19th in his Audi on 77. Although he's got a DSQ next to his name. Chi Wing Chong is 20th in the McLaren on 76 points. Rowdy Burns 21st in the Porsche on 54. And then we've got Sam Palmer 22nd in the Porsche on 52. Callum Watt 23rd on 49, tied with Ronaldo Giuli in the Lamborghini there. SJ Disco is 25th on 48 points. Rockas 26 in his AMG on 34. Corey Haslam was 27th on 24 points. Robert Franco is 28th on 22. Mr. Gedman is 29th on 20, although he's got a DSQ next to his name. Breck Films, aka Cascanova, is 30th on 20 points. David Keane, aka Hino DJ, is 31st in his McLaren on 17 points. Then we've got Silvestri, who's 32nd in his Ferrari on 12 points with Craig Jackson. James Williams has 6 in 34th. Gilles Watkins has 5. Lintel has 2, and everybody else is yet to score. Right, so quick catch up on the live chat. Good luck everyone, lovely weather, Coops. Is it your bath day? No wet races are your best opportunity. Yeah, it is actually. It probably is, Del. What should we be saying? Only Timmy has pressed like so far. Thank you, Timmy, but you have to, you're paid. Brady Burns, hi mate. Okay, JR's in again. This should be brutal. It is going to be brutal, JR. Good to see you in, mate. And yeah, everyone's predicting some epic crashes. Oh god, this is not supposed to be like a highlights reel of what not to do at Spa. I think we're all going to be very impressed with what we've got on show this evening, as long as they all realise, let's just say, as Woody goes off again, so he's not having a massively great time so far in that Porsche. So what Tate will do, we'll come away from him and we'll look at Sven in the 72 Aston. We'll see if that particular beast is handling any better than the Porsche. I'm going to keep my eyes away from the live chat for a while, because I think these guys are just going to be trying to wind me up. Right, let's have a look at track conditions. Yeah, wet. We're on at 22 degrees, according to what I've got here, 22 ambient and 22 on track. It's not too bad, although it is telling me it's clear and sunny, which, like every weatherman or weather person, usually does get the weather wrong, so that doesn't look too good. Mark Stewart is back in. That's a nice livery on that Aston, isn't it? It is indeed. And we've got, what, 6 minutes left. So whilst we have a few spare minutes, let's have a look. Let's do that, actually. Let's have a look at our walkthrough. Again, you know, I'm not expecting everyone to have watched this on Tuesday. If you have and you've seen this already, I do apologise, but yeah, it might be interesting for some of us. So 7.004 kilometres is the track length at Spa. Lots and lots of different challenges at Spa. We've got long straights, we've got heavy braking zones, we've got areas where you've got to really balance the car, and as you can see now on your screens, we're just walking through sectors 1 into sector 2. So you've got the Source, then you've got the heavy run down to Rouge, and then up the hill Radion, down the Kemmel Straight into Les COMMS, round Bruxelles, No Name, Pouon, and then we get round towards Campus, and then down to Stavelot 1 and 2. All very, very challenging, and I'm sure Timmy Blunder would love to get in the 216s at Spa, but it's just not going to happen, is it? Anyway, and then Blanchimont, which I don't think's that really that difficult of a corner. Just got to keep it pinned and go for it, and into the bus stop chicane, and we go from there. So Domikos is the guy who's looking to make the most from this evening, as you can see in the 220 Lexus. A good driver, he does driving of the series, so it's not everybody in here isn't actually a rookie, or they may be a rookie, but they've signed up to other particular race nights at the same time. And if you're wondering what those race nights are, well, let's have a quick look at the FRL series calendar, shall we? So Tuesdays is the Super Sprints. I'm sure you all watched that. That was pretty epic at Spa. This evening we've got the rookies in the GT3 category, 8 o'clock kickoff. As we've said before, 2 30-minute races. They do have to do a pit stop for tyres. Fuel is optional. And then on Friday we've got the Pure Simgear GT3 Fridays, which is a full hour's race. Well, that's the signature dish, really. And then we've got all the endurance that goes on as well once a month on the Saturday at 1:30, and a plethora of other one-off events. None of that would be possible without these guys. These are our patrons, everybody that helps contribute to keep the servers going, add more servers, pay for comms. By the way, that's all going up. Joking. Yeah, we couldn't do it without you guys, so big thank you. We'll have a look at the different levels of the Patreon system a little bit later on. I know you guys want to actually see some action out on track, but this is definitely going to be challenging for our guys. Oh god, blimey, the live chat's gone absolutely bonkers. We have got 700 watching at the moment, thank you, but I've only got 6 likes, so if we could bump that up a little bit, considering there is actually 14 of you, that would be pretty epic. I'll be happy with that. Coop's looking away from chat, he'll miss it. Yes, probably doubt. Yeah, I don't think it is, mate. I don't think. Did you bring spare? Oh, they're all loving this. Do you know what? I'm not going to have to say a single word in there this evening, which is good, because I have a feeling with 36, if everyone checks in on track, is going to keep me rather busy. You can't be a pro and join. No, Sean, I don't think. I think that kind of negates. Well, I suppose. Negates the whole rookie series, really, but don't worry, Dow will be in there. Fantastic. Okay, so 13 of you with us. We are 2 minutes away from completing free practice. As you can see, Gianmarco Silvestri, remember, has only got 12 points, so he's very, very new to this. He's leading the way with a 2:29.592. Terence Keenan is in second, pretty much 4 tenths off the pace. Then look at the gap back. That's a big gap. Although that doesn't look 100% right to me. Domikos is 3.5 seconds. I don't think that's right, because Serkan is then 2.5 behind. So we'll see when we get into qualifying what these guys are actually capable of doing, which is going to start any second. There's Brizzle. I know Brizzle was really rushing to get home today. Has managed to get back in time, jump in his Aston, which he's had a fair bit of seat time in, actually. So I think Briz will do quite well this evening. Seems to have it planted quite a lot. Not saying the Aston is OP, which it is. Not saying that it is the standout car, especially for rookies, which it is. And I'm not saying the Aston's supposed to be very, very good in the wet, which it is. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. There's Mr. Burns in his Porsche. I'm not going to do any Simpsons jokes. You know there was one there. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You haven't raced for 10 months. Does your AM status grow back? Probably, Steve. No, I do have a driver's rating, actually. Yeah, not within FRL. Within, like, other stuff. Timmy will tell you what it is. It's amazing. But yeah, we're just getting ready to finish free practice at the moment. 1 second, let me just see what this contract offer is on my phone. No idea. Right, there we go. So, right, I'm out. I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of this chat. These boys are having way too much fun. So, who's first out of the bag? We know first out of the bag always gets some attention in qualifying. So, we are now into qualifying. It's 15 minutes, remember, in the beautiful conditions. That is a rather wet Spa at the moment. We'll see. Why has that come up on there? 1 second, ladies and gents. I know why. I've just had... There we go. It's alright. Rookies. Yeah, it happens to all of us. Right, anyway, so now we should have the relevant information on everybody's screens, and more importantly on my screen, so I can see what's going on. So Domikos is thundering around the track at the moment. It's difficult to, you know, I mean, how are you going to generate loads of, well, the right amount of heat in those brakes and tyres? Obviously, I'm assuming they're going to have a full wet setup on. It doesn't look too damp to me, so survival of the fittest, without a doubt. So, where is he now? Going through campus. Okay, so we'll get on board with Dom as he starts his quick lap. We'll do a quick lap guide. And I should be able to get more words out this time, because I'm expecting the lap times to be a little bit slower than what they were on Tuesday. Freeman says Smiley won't be a little late. Okay, Sean needs his beauty sleep. James Williams with JR go to sleep. Yeah, they do indeed. I'll take a season in the rookies. Need to get back on pace. JR, yes, well, do it then, Steve. Stop teasing everybody, saying you're going to come back and drive. Do it. Buy a steering wheel. I'm sure they have done in Abu Dhabi somewhere. Anyways, we come up to the bus stop. It's time to do it. Okay, let's get on board with Domikos in the raucous Lexus to listen to the TC kicking in there. Right. Anyway, down the start, finish straight. First corner is the source. We want to get over to the left-hand side, get onto the brakes about now, get all the way down into first, trail in, try and get as close to that wall as possible. Bearing in mind it's wet. Squeeze on the throttle. We'll be out to the right-hand side, left-hand side. We don't want to take the sausage curve, evidently. And now we've got the rather breezy run down the hill towards Rouge. So, hop the wall on the right-hand side. We don't want to be taking too much curb in these conditions. You can see how slippery those curves are. We even had to go down here, which I think was pretty wise. Just remember, let me change that. Okay, down the Camel Straight. Nothing to do down here, just going to relax. We're going to think about our next braking zone for the King. So before the curve starts on the left, we're going to get hard on the brakes, down into second, tuck it in, squeeze the throttle there, got to tippy-toe. In these conditions, there's no full throttle going on here, and then we're going to literally slowly, look at it, it's so slow. I mean, it's not, I bet he's panicking. And then on the brakes into Brazils, into first gear. Again, normally we would absolutely hook that curve on the right-hand side. Probably not a great idea this evening. And then squeeze the throttle on towards No Name. Take it really slow through here. I mean, No Name's a triple quarter at the best of times. Squeeze on that throttle. Just, you can almost feel him trying to anticipate any oversteer there. Enter Puyon on the brakes, down a couple of gears. Little snap there. Well corrected, Dom. Again, he's having to feather that throttle because he's just going to spin up those wheels. Up towards campus under the bridge, on the brakes, down into second. So slow, isn't it? I've never seen it this slow, unless I'm watching Timmy drive, obviously. Right, on the brakes, into Stavalo, get it tucked in. Now you'd be on the throttle, you'd be hard on the throttle now, but you can't see he's even corrected some oversteer then. Again, we're going to tippy toe through Stavalo 2 and then onto the back straight, which I'm sure is an area where we can give it some form of beans, certainly. And then prepare for Blanchemont. Now, I did say Blanchemont's not really a difficult corner, you just pin it and just make sure you get the line right. However, in wet conditions, especially coming out onto the green stuff, you're going to have to back out through there. That's going to invalidate that lap. If it hasn't, that was absolutely bang on, and we've just gone way past the whole lap from Tuesday already into the bus stop. And Dom is just nursing, isn't he? Nursing that Lexus round. So what sort of time is Dom going to set? Let's have a look. 2:33 flat. 2:33 flat. I think Dom is quicker than that. I think he's just put a banker in, if I'm being totally honest with you. So, Neil Woodward there. Okay, so you can see on your screen, you can see next to their names, we've got doubters. So green if they're going quicker than their last lap. Obviously red if they're not. Sergio, probably as expected, he goes provisional pole there with a 2:31.682. That was a good lap time, Sergio. What's everyone saying in the live chat? A lot. Sure, they're all talking about how much James likes to sleep. Brilliant. Okay, 16 of you in at the moment. Welcome, ladies and gents. This is the Formula Racing League rookies season on Thursdays. We are in qualifying currently, as you can see, at Spa yet again. Rather wet. Free practice. There wasn't too many incidents in free practice, but obviously now they're going to start pushing the envelope a little bit. And we've seen in free practice, Woody was definitely having some issues in that Porsche. So I want to get on board and have a look at that, actually. You see, we saw Dom having to do some corrections in car, probably only 3 during the lap, but he took that really, really carefully. Terence Keenan goes provisional pole with a 2:30.342. That's nice, Terence. That's a good effort from you as Woody comes into Puyon. Feather that throttle, dude. You don't want to be taking it. You don't want to be... Oh. I'm just waiting for a big tank snapper there. Do you know what? I think this is going to be a ridiculously entertaining evening of racing. Some for good reasons and some probably for not good reasons. But you lot watching are going to have a fantastic one. I've got no doubt about that. So what we've got, the gap to... Okay, well, that's quite a big gap from first to second. Actually, we might have to change that. You can now see the relative gaps from what sort of times the guys are posting as Woody comes up towards Bonchimon. Come on, be brave, Woody. Be brave. I'll tell you what, there's one thing you've got to be really, really careful of in a Porsche is when you're lifting off that throttle. You've got to be so careful in there. So you can see, Keenan's in the pits now. No doubt he's pretty happy with that lap. As Woody comes round, let's see what time Woody's going to set. He's currently in 7th. He's 3.2 off the pace at the moment. Let's see if he's improved. Has he? Has improved now, 2.4. Well done, Neil. Nice work. Nice work. Okay, let's go a bit further down the grid. Rowdy Burns. Let's have a look at our Rowdy Burns. Another chap in a Porsche. 51 Porsche. You can see he's just done a PB. And I think behind him, that's a black Lambo. That might be Rinaldi. Is that Rinaldi? It is indeed. There he is. So Rinaldi Julie is just behind on track at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on both of them. Let's see how they go on. Guys, in the live chat, what do we think tonight? I mean, obviously the conditions are tricky. And I have to say, I mean, last week, we was at Kota last week, weren't we? And it wasn't just in the rookie series, it happened across all of the series. Everybody seemed to forget that rule that we have in terms of, well, you know what? You can't win a race in turn 1. And everybody tried to. Massively tried to. Is that Chica behind? No, it's another Lambo. I would suggest that everybody doesn't go full throttle through Eau Rouge and Radion and doesn't go super late on the brakes into La COMMS on that one because, well, you're probably going to shorten the field by quite a lot if you do that. So I get it's rookies, I get everybody wants to make a bit of a name for themselves, you know, maybe people in the other championships will start following and, you know, well, he's a good driver, she's a good driver. I think caution is most definitely going to be key for the first few laps of this race because, well, we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. Do you think it's wet, Dale? I think it might be. I think it might be. I think there's going to be a lot of people getting really out of shape because they're probably going to stamp on the throttle a little bit early. Who's just said that for Radion? You can win in turn 1, but you can defo lose it. No, Stephen, you can't win in turn 1. You can't. Not when you're starting from the back. Yeah, I mean, that's... Oh, and Sean's like, full send. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, dear. Good job I'm not doing the stewarding tonight. Let's put it that way. You guys can do the stewarding. Full send. Can't do full send. Right, anyway, let's get back to the top. We are obviously still in qualifying at the moment. We've got 5 minutes left. So at the top of the pack, we've still got Mr. Keenan there, as he's decided to come out and do a couple more laps in his 78 BMW. Sergio still in second, although he has closed that gap. It's now 8/10. Domikos third, only a couple of hundredths behind Sergio there, so that looks interesting. Tuckberg's turned up to the party and he's gone fourth, 1.3 off the pace. Then we've got Silvestri is currently fifth, 1.4 off the pace. Neil Woodward has just come back out, so he's going to have another attempt, probably get one flyer in, I would suggest, after a careful warm-up lap. Evan Martinson is 7th, 2.7. Brizzle is 2.8 off the pace in the pits in 8th, and then Serkan Duran is 9th. Ian Thompson is currently 10th, but look at them, almost 3 seconds off the pace there. Marco Pizzuti is in the 21 Ferrari, I believe he is... no, Pizzuti's not in a Ferrari, that is my bad. Well, of course he is. Right, let's have a look at him over there. That's rather colourful, isn't it? Nice and yellow. So Marco's in 11th. Alex Tishner is 12th. He's just coming out the pits. Blanchett is actually 12th. Now, Corving is 14th, 3.4 off the pace. Riley Burns 15th. SJ Disco, Samuel Disco is 16th. James Williams 17th in the pits. Daniel Lopez is 18th. Lintel is 19th. 5 seconds off the pace there. And then we've got Ronaldo Julie. Is 21st. Callum Watt, where's Callum? There he is. So Callum's in 22nd, just coming out of the pits in his number 12 Audi. Herbert, he's got Keddy Audi. It's not Keddy Audi, but you know what I mean. Keddy, you know what I mean. He's in 20th at the moment. Rokos. No, that's gone wrong as well. That has gone wrong. There it is. So where is he? In the Triple 8 Mercedes. Rokos there, 5.1 off the pace. Kino. Not liking the wet, no doubt. So Kino in the 177 McLaren, Red Kings Motorsport there. He's down in 23rd at the moment. Julie's obviously in the pits in 24th. Callum's 25th. Robert Franco, so we'll look at him. Robert Franco's in 26th. And then Jan Hublet there in his BMW with a 155. That looks like he's had a bit of a paint job, if you like. And Breck Wilms, well, at least he's made it. And he's out. Yes, go Cass! So Cass has managed to join us again, probably with absolutely no free practice. He's probably literally turned up after his busy day with the kids and he's just gone out now to get a lap in. Does it every single time, but usually actually performs really well. And it's not like he doesn't know the track, although he may not have had the experience in the wet at the moment. So we are with Terence 230.1. He's improved then, so he's now got a second gap back to Sergio. Right, Sergio, what can you do? Let's see if you can do anything towards the end of this session. Sunshine and no clouds for the race. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Darryl. It's not going to be sunny for the race. You know what? It would be quite funny if it... that rhymes, it would be quite ironic if it was sunny for the race, wouldn't it? After everyone's been panicking all day in the practice servers and free practice and qualifying, and they're all like, phew, I've managed to get through it and I've qualified. Oh, it's sunny. Can't see that happening really. 11 of you still with us. Fantastic. We've got just over a minute left of qualifying and then we will have our first 30-minute sprint of the evening. Remember, there will be a pit stop in there. Tyres are mandatory. I believe fuel is optional. If it's not, somebody will correct me. Yeah, but JR, it's not rough. It's good. Think of the experience these guys get. Think how nervous you were when you did your first sort of league race and you turned up and it was wet. You'd be absolutely like, oh my god. But now, it's no problem. You know, so... But yeah, it's probably a bit harsh, really, isn't it? I mean, if they're on the roof, they should give them like a dry season maybe, and then a wet one. But no, that's not how it's done. Right, come on. Come on, Sergio. Aston time. Right, up towards campus there. I'm not even going to see. I don't want us to see what his delta is at the moment. Evidently he has gone a little bit quicker because he's now only half a second behind. So let's see if he can take that and push a little bit harder. Half a second is a lot to make up though, but if he's found a groove, then you never know. Just had to back out, and again there, so he's going to be losing time. And lucky Sergio, that's your qualifying done and dusted. So Dom, what can you do, Dom? Are you in a position where you can challenge Keenan or not? We'll find out. As Tugberg, he goes into the pits from 4th place. Silvestri's still out in 5th, but Martinson 6th. He's in the pits. Duran's in the pits, as is Woodward. And Brizzle in 9th. He's in the pits. He's just gone yellow. Thompson's in the pits as well. So Pizzuti could improve potentially and get into the top 10. We've got Silvestri and Dom are the only 2 in the top 5 that are still out on track. Obviously Keenan is, but he's just gone yellow, so that isn't going to make too much difference. So let's go on board with Dom first of all. And just behind him on track is actually Silvestri, so it's good. It's good. We'll pick them both up at the end. So on the brakes into campus. Squeeze. Remember, we watched Dom for the lap guide. And it just seemed so sedate. I mean, obviously it's going to. It's too soon. How much do you have to back off? That Lexus does not look happy. She does not look happy. Can you stick on board? Doing light a candle from the start, brilliant. And yeah, I think everyone still scraps around panicking on the tyre pressures and things like that at the start of the wet race just to make sure I don't have a clue. And there we go, and that is the end of Dom's qualifying session, so he's not going to improve. This man though, this man could, let's see if he does. Gianmarco Silvestri in the 37th row, now he's gone deep as well. That's not going to do anything for his chances, unfortunately. Let's see if he does improve. Even with that error, no, he just wants to park it. Well, that's good. You're on stream. It's all good. Right, pit lane count. Let's get back into there. So there you go, ladies and gents. That's qualifying, done and dusted. And that was, wow.
Alright, we have some wet conditions. Watch out for curbs and exit, and remember to brake early.
Did you hear that, guys? We have some wet conditions. Be mindful of curbs. Mandatory stops on. Time expected. What are we saying? 20, 25. Right, let's just change those bits around so we can all get the right information. So we've got one pit stop on there. We know they've got to make one. That should be about right. Yeah, so everyone's just going to get lined up. Let's just go in there, get rid of that. See if we're all good still. Yeah, we're all good on that. That's fine. Sorry about that. It always takes a few moments because there's so many different. You may have seen a little shot I put out on the rookies race chat earlier on. There's so many different things that I've got to have on all the script. I know, poor me. I know, I get it, but sometimes it can take a little while to get set up, and you have to redo it for every session. So it's not like you set it up and it stays. Every session you've got to reset that up. So I'm just going to make sure that is all good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Happy with all that. So, right, at the end of all of that, the culmination of that 15 minutes qualifying means Terence Keenan is going to start on pole position, which is very good for him. Hopefully he can get away and get a clean start and avoid what is no doubt going to happen behind him. Sergio is going to start alongside him on the front row in second place. Dom is third alongside Tugberg. That should be a good start off their second row. Then we've got Silvestri in fifth. Martinson's going to start sixth. Serkan Duran 7th, Woodward's going to start 8th, Brizzle's going to start 9th, Pizzuti 10th, Corving's going to start 11th with Ian Thompson in his Lamborghini. Then we're going to have Blanchett and Tischler going to be 13th and 14th. Stewart and Burns 15th and 16th. Disco 17th. James Williams in his Pink Pig. We'll have a look at that more later on. Usually get some airtime. Literally air time. 18th place. Daniel Lopez 19th. Lintau's going to be 20th. 21st is Herbert. 22nd is Rocas. And then Keno is 23rd. Reynaldo Judy's 24th. Callum Watts 25th. Breck Vilms is 26th. And then we've got Hummel at 27th. And Franco is going to be in 28th place on the grid. So, whilst we're waiting for that to start, I did promise everybody we would have a quick look. Rowdy Burns, let's have some fun. Yeah, that's what you call it, Rowdy. That's what you call it. I did promise everyone would have a look at the different levels within the Patreons, so we do need to do that just to make you all aware. Let's have a quick look at that whilst waiting for that to start. So the sort of base level that we're offering out is a supporter level, which is a mere £3 a month, and that gets you your driver number, reserved free seat, and entrance into the lotto. The formation lap is just getting underway. Then we've got the FRL Elite level, which is £5 a month. That's again driver number, seat, lotto. You can also then get a number logo, and offer us some coaching. And if you're new to PC, if you're coming across on the PlayStation, there is a sim racing guide that has been put together by some of the experts within FRL that you can have access to. And then the top level, which is only 50p more, £5.50, is the Alien level. That's your driver number, seats, lotto, number logo, coaching, race guide, a customised overlay or banner for if you're going to do some streaming, which I must say, they look pretty smart. Access to yearly prizes. You've also got access to some SimHub dashes that we've developed here as well as sort of Stream Deck ACC icons if you've got a Stream Deck, and one custom livery by our in-house designer, which would be Keddy. So he's working on something right now. Something else, I know. They all want to do it. Anyways, they make their way down the Kemmel Strait, so that just gives you guys some more information how you can get involved. Remember, if it wasn't for all of the patrons, we couldn't do all of this. Yeah, we couldn't. I couldn't afford the lights. Timmy couldn't afford to get involved from Abu Dhabi because the internet's so expensive over there. Dow couldn't have taken his operation on the private, healthcare because that would have been too expensive. All these little things, But seriously, without the patrons, we couldn't put on all the servers. And you have to remember, it's PS4, PS5 and PC. It's not just across one platform. And it all really, really helps. So, anyway, I'll stop talking about that, shall I? Mr. Kagatacos, good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Yeah, it seems a while since we've had a little chat. Since the days of you Superkart Ray and 1-1 Ferrari Dyson away, usually for 10th place in tacos, mate. But I hope you're well. And yeah, I think tonight's going to be, I say interesting, it's going to be, I mean, I normally say chaos, but I literally think it might be tonight. And then obviously the guys at FRL decided that, Coops is going to come and do comms on a Thursday. Let's let's make it really difficult for him. That's alright. Okay, where are we now? So we're coming around Stavolo. Yep. What's going through their minds? Well, again, we know there's a lot of points at stake. People have already raced on this track on Tuesday. Some of them are in the Super Sprint series, so some will have had exposure to this in a racing environment, although not these conditions. And just to let you know, the track and ambient temperatures are both dropped by 1 degree, although to be fair, the temperatures aren't probably what's really on all the drivers' minds at the moment, more so the wet stuff all over the road, which is making their cars a bit unstable. Good point, Dal. Dal's like, rain's a good leveller. Well, it is, isn't it? It can also level fences, tyre barriers, things like that, Dal. Okay, we're going to get ready. So, well, we've got quite a few in. It's fantastic that everybody is watching this evening. If you haven't pressed like, please do so. I really appreciate that. It helps us get this out to more individuals, get more people intrigued and interested in Formula Racing League, and they get to come and be part of the show. Anyway, so everyone's got to think here, if they were really a rookie, they'd be expecting the start-finish line to be there to start the race, but it's not, is it? No, it's around the other side. So, who should we go on board with? Who shall we... Well, we'll do what we always do. We'll stay on board with your man at the front, but we'll have a slightly different angle, and which would be good because we can see how much they can't see in terms of the spray, and in fact that's going to be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this. Anyway, coming around the source, it might not be the slowest they go around the source tonight actually, and on the run downhill. So Formula Racing League Rookie Series race 5 about to get underway. This is race 1 of the evening, remember, 30 minutes with a pit stop, and they're about to go green. Go, go, go. Go on. Go.
Green light.
Go, go, go. We are underway. 30 minutes of chaos about to start. So, Keenan manages to keep that lead as we watch them all coming up through Radion. I can't see anybody spinning just yet, but that doesn't mean that hasn't happened. So, further down grid. Woodward. It's okay in the middle of the pack there. Thompson. So Chica's got himself a bit of a gap, but Tischler looks like he's having a little scrap at the moment, doesn't he? Does indeed. Look at the pack behind them, so they all come flying down. Coming straight for the first time into the braking zone of Lacoon. Again, I'm not seeing anybody going yellow. Touchwood, that stays that way as James Williams goes through there. Everybody's come through nice and safe, boys and girls. Well done. You lot are impressing me. We got one off the track there. That looks like it was Pizzuti, yeah, in the old steady on. I thought he was going to come across Tischler then, but he holds his line firm as he tucks into Bruxelles for the first time. Clean start so far then. Clean start so far. So back at the front of the grid, we have got Keenan. He's got stretching his legs. He's got himself a second ahead of Sergio, and then we've got Tuckberg in his Porsche. He's made up a couple of places, or at least a place there. And let's get in the pack. Let's get on board with Woody, and let's get on board and see what he can and can't see. So again, anyone watching this for the first time is thinking, you know what, it's just a game. It's, Gran Turismo it's nothing like that, right? You have to look at the detail that is there on the game. You know, you've got the spray coming up at the moment. It makes it difficult to see, and if the weather gets worse, that will get worse with it, as you can imagine. So, you know, the dynamic weather system certainly does work well. So we come away from that one. So Woody is running in 8th place at the moment. So Silvestri is 0.4 behind Dom. That is the closest one on track currently. So let's have a look at how that pans out as they head up towards the bus stop. You see Dom was quite brave in his Lexus there and took quite a bit of curve. And Silvestri thought better of it in his Ferrari. Has he got a decent gap behind him? Yeah, he's fallen away now, isn't he, a little bit? So they all come filing through. Again, no craziness going on at the moment. Oh, we had someone just move offline there. Was that Pizzuti again? It wasn't, but he is under some pretty huge pressure at the moment. And that looks like Tischler again. So him and Tischler are having a right little fun time up there as they go into the source. Chica comes very late on the brakes in his 55 Lamborghini just behind them. And they've swapped over. Fantastic. Well done them. So Ferrari, probably not the most stable of cars, I would suggest. Audi, same boat. Both very temperamental, excuse me. If you want to see a lap guide, if you want to see a car guide on that, have a look on my channel. These cars have gone through every single car on there in the GT3 class with sort of bite-sized reviews there. But that Ferrari seems to have the legs at the moment on the Audi. So again, that will be real differences in terms of the setups, how much drag. Obviously, we've got to think about how they're fueled, because fuel is optional in the pit stop. So have they fueled for the full 30 minutes? Have they fueled light? And they've got to do maybe a splash and dash. We don't know. That's the beauty. We have to find out, don't we? So that is your top 10 covered. Tischler, as we know, in the Audi is currently in 12th place. Ian Thompson, so Chica's catching him up quite nicely. Let's get on board and have a look at the Lambo and see if she's being kind. Jan Hublet has just gone. Has he gone yellow? He has. as has Reynaldo Julie, so we'll try and catch up what happened with them in a moment as we go into Podium. And so that looks like Sven's gone a little bit wide just ahead there, 3 cars in front. To be expected. Callum Watt's just gone yellow there as well, so live chat, let's have a look. James is dead right away. James. Maybe James killed someone else, you never know. I'm not sure what the triangle thing means. I thought it was for contact. Yeah, the triangle is just for contact. Well, basically, yeah, essentially, yes. At the end of the day, if you see their name, a beautiful name, falling down the grid, I think we can assume what's happening. But yes, the triangle normally means there has been some form of contact. As Dom is now 0.4 seconds behind Tuckberg, so he's now looking to apply some pressure. Look at Tuckberg, he's closed right up onto the back of Sergio. All of this happening, as we say all the time, these guys are all battling. You can see fastest lap of the race there by Keenan at 2:30.997, which, if you remember, is probably a second slower than what he's done in qualifying. So there's definitely going to be more time in that as the fuel burns down. Ian Thompson there, Mark Stewart. We've got some yellows on the screen. Let's have a look and see what's. Oh dear, Thompson and Stewart just managed to avoid each other, but that brings into play Herbert and Franco. So we're going to have a 4-way battle down to the source. And hey, come on, Mr. Stewart. I saw that. So Mr. Stewart definitely gave a love tap into the side of Chica there, probably to kind of say get out of it, but I don't really think that one was necessary, to be honest with you. So let's see if Chica. So he's looking back at Herbert. We're going to go up through Eau Rouge and Bradion. Oh, Chica's lost it. Chica's lost it. Oh, I'm thinking that Chica probably just lifted slightly there, and again with the Lambo, with her being so skittish at the best of times. Yeah, that invoked a little bit of lift off oversteer, and well, he had no control over that. As some more famous people would say, he's just a passenger on the way to the scene of the accident, although he's got the same name as me. But yeah, there you go. So Keenan's still leading this race. We've got 23.5, slightly more, 23.5 minutes. Corbin and Tishla Pizzuti's had an off there in his Ferrari. He has, you can see him battling to get back onto track as they're going up towards Podium. So again, that looked like there was probably an issue going through No Name. We did say at the start, No Name is a very difficult corner to get balanced. The turning point for No Name, when you've got to get back on the throttle, they're really difficult to get right every single lap, especially in these conditions. So that hasn't helped anybody. Just behind, we're looking at Rowdy Burns at the moment. He's in 12th place. Just behind him, you've got Blanchett. And Blanchett is a known quality to us at Formula Racing League. Has raced previous seasons. We know he's a very good driver. So maybe he's taken on the Audi. It's a new car for him, and he's trying to get used to it. But it certainly seems. Well, I was going to say it certainly seems to be closing Rowdy down, but definitely had himself a little wander there. Thrustmaster, I take it that's what Rowdy uses. See him just backing out that. So Keenan again, another quickest lap of the race, 0.3 quicker than before with a 2:30.665. So he's happily in the zone at the moment, isn't he? He's got no pressure on him really whatsoever. And Tuckberg and Don, there's still a second between them, a second and a half back to Silvestri in 5th. Martinson is still in 6th, 2 seconds further down the field. Serkan Duran's up to 8th, Brown 9th, Woodward's in 9th, Corving's in 10th. Then we've got Tishler Burns, who we're watching at the moment, and then SJ Disco, because Blanchett's had an off. And let's have a look at Mr. Disco. I mean, again, we know SJ very well from back in the PlayStation days. Obviously, fairly recently come across, and you can see he's part of the Red King stable. With that beautiful livery on there, no doubt done by Cascanova, aka Brett Films. And he's representing those boys this evening. So Blanchett finds himself down into 14th then. Then we've got Mark Stewart, remember, was involved earlier on with Chica, most certainly was. Franco's running in 16th, although from where he qualified, he'd probably be quite happy with that. And he's there in 720. McLaren. I've not been on board with the McLaren yet. Let's have a look and see what she's like around a wet Spa. Yeah. Good point there, Timmy, saying he's got some understeer. Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. And we know how much you love understeer. It's just you never figured out how to... Oh, by the way, ladies and gents, actually, something very interesting. If... I've got some information out earlier on today, as we're watching Franco at the moment chasing down Mark Stewart for 15th place, 1.5 between them. Herbert's just behind in 17th, 0.6 seconds. I got some information earlier through a certain academy with a coach, whose name is Dave, about a new app that they have developed. So if you do partake potentially in subscriptions there or any setups, there's now an app where you can download it and link it up to your Discord, and instead of grabbing the files and making sure you've got all the different folders set up and all the JSON, blah blah blah, all that stuff, you literally just click install and it does it within half a second, and boom, it's straight there ready to go. I tested it out earlier on, so I'm in the process of downloading 500,000 setups, which is good. Obviously I don't drive, but you know, I might as well use them. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, put Windows open. If you haven't seen it, have a look. It's called Delta, so I'll just put that out there for everybody. You are welcome, by the way. Right, so we can see Rockus is an 18th. Blanchet's gone straight into the pit, so I think he probably wants to make a change to those tyre pressures. No doubt about that, as we're watching these two battle away for 16th and 17th, and Herbert, he decides he's coming in the pit as well. Remember, it's a 10-minute pit window, so people are probably going to want to get that done fairly quickly, unless your name's Keenan and you're quite happily out on front there. What's his gap now? 3.8 seconds. He's comfortable, isn't he? Sergio's probably comfortable as well, with a 2.1 back. Dom is still trying to keep that pressure on Tuckberg, so that is your closest in the top. Well, in the top 10, probably. Further down the grid, who's in where? So Thompson, let's have a look at him, is in the pits. Hopefully he's doing a pit stop and hasn't come in for the end of his race, although that was a pretty big crash, wasn't it? So that's probably race one done for him. Pizzuti as well is in the pits. Callum's still out or just coming into the pits at the moment. He's in 26th. Jan Hublet is in 25th. He's coming into the pits as well. Danny Lopez, there we go, in his number 13 McLaren. He's coming in for a quick pit stop. Well, I say quick, I mean if they're all carrying damage, I would get the damage fixed. Otherwise the car's going to try and kill you even quicker next time. But we'll see how long these last. Blanchett, we know he is in the pits, and then James Williams there in his pink pig is running in 21st place. He's looking to get into a fight with Greg Williams, and you can see, wow, the front of that Audi, unless you've gone for a different type of theme there, Cass, that doesn't look, oh my word, and we've got three Red King Motorsport cars in a line. You've got Lintel, King and Williams. Oh, did he touch? That looked, and if he didn't, that was extremely close, wasn't it? Keno's off. Keno's off the track. He's not enjoying the wet, no doubt. So this battle continues to rage. Again, this is for 20th and 21st place. You know, it's we're not talking podiums, but again, it's always close racing. And James will probably fancy himself a little bit in that Aston, although Wilms is not going to just jump out of the way. Not a chance. Outside of campus then, so Sergio now puts in the quickest lap of the race at 2:30.620. I mean, granted it's only 300ths quicker than what Keenan set previously, but hey, it's still quicker as Cascanova goes way too wide there, really deep into Stavro, probably was too busy looking at James, and James manages to pick up another position, goes into 19th place. Well done to you. So, and there's Lintel in the 276 BMW again, another Red Kings driver. If you're wondering what I'm talking about with these teams, within Formula Racing there are overarching teams that span PS4, PS5 and PC, so you could join one of those teams and evidently, you know, there's some good camaraderie, banter, training, practice, you know. And, oh, that was a little love tap there, wasn't it? Oh, did you turn him round? Oh, Reynaldo Julie, I thought Lintel was going to actually knock him there and straighten him back up, but didn't. So we're now beginning to catch some issues as they go on. So Lintel carries on 17th place. And Rocas is in front of him there in 16th. Yes, the overarching teams, and when you race you can pick up separate points from your championship for that team. But again, it's another way of having a home within the home, if you like, and there's good banter between the teams. unless it's wet at Spa, and then you're probably not too happy about it. Right, so Ruckus, he's doing alright actually, isn't he? He's got himself up to 14th place. Franco's got to be happy with that. We've got some pit stops yet to do, evidently. Mark Stewart there in 12th place, he definitely will be happy. Who's just done, he's not in the pits, no, so again, another one, Samuel Disco. Red Kings Motorsport, they're everywhere, aren't they? Rowdy Burns, he's doing a great job actually. He's got his Porsche up into the top 10. I'm sure he's going to be really happy with that. Cass killed Kino. Michael will have them up in a kangaroo court. No, what we have in the Red Kings Motorsport is the dungeon. And we really do, Dal. And anyone that's very naughty in their races, they get taken out of the Discord and put in the dungeon. And we don't feed them or water them until they've learned from their mistake and can prove themselves on track. So that's probably what's going to happen. That's true story, right? Back to the action. What have we got left on this one? 15 minutes. We are halfway through the race. To be fair, I know we have seen a couple of incidents. So Dom's out of the pits, Grizzle's out of the pits as well. You can see on the left of your screen where we've got the sort of gold ones next to the driver number. When that goes green, that evidently means they've completed the pit stop and they're good to go till the end of the race. Blanchette's also done that. Sergio's in the pits, Keenan's in the pits as well, as is Silvestri and Tugberg. So the top four, they've all decided, let's do it, which means Serkan Duran is currently leading this race, closely followed by, looks like, another Red Kings Motorsport. I don't know if at the door to FRL, when they come in and say, I'm a rookie, can I please join the league? I don't know if there's representatives there of Red Kings Motorsport as another one's coming out the pits. Whether they've got representatives there that are just handing out little flyers and, you know, money. Because there's a lot, which is great. It's good to see. Yeah. So, Evan Martinson there in second place at the moment. Neil Woodward is in third in his Porsche. Then we've got Tischler in his Audi. He's currently in fourth place. Keenan, as we say, Keenan, Azorio, Tugberg and Silvestri are all in the pits. Now it's going to be interesting to see who gets out first. So let's get on board with Keenan. He hasn't moved yet. Where's Sergio? Has he moved yet? No, not yet. Tugberg hasn't moved yet either. So again, remember, there are more than one way to do a pit stop within ACC. I was going to say within FRL. There's more than one way to do a stop, and you can do the automatic stop where you just drive in and you get it near the line. It then brings you in line, puts you on the jacks, changes everything, lets you go. That takes quite a long time. Or you can do the manual stop, where as you're approaching your box, you cut the engine straight away, you lining yourself up. So as soon as you hit your markers, you're up, changed. And as they're letting you down, you've got the engine started to go straight away, and that usually saves, on a normal stop, probably about 5 to 5.5 seconds, I would suggest. So we'll see. Keenan is out of the pits. Silvestri is out of the pits now. He's got out in front of him. So he's coming up there. Alright, okay, let me just check this one. He's going through like he has. Wow. The beauty of pit stops. So Silvestri has jumped everybody in the pits. He's going to come out when everyone else does pit. Silvestri is ahead of Keenan. Remember, so it was Keenan, Azuria, Tugberg, Dom, and then Silvestri was involved in the top 5. He's now leading the pack. Excellent pit stop. Let's have a look at the times on that pit stop. So Silvestri 16.9. Okay, definitely quicker. I don't know then if he'd fueled heavy or if he didn't take tyres. That's quite interesting. We'll see that at the end. Anyway, Woodward manages to, well, he's now in the lead of the race because Duran and Martinson, they've elected to pit, as has Tischler. So Neil Woodward in his 999 Porsche. He was on the podcast last night. Good, nice chap is Neil. He is your race leader at the moment, so enjoy that. You've got just under 12 minutes left of the first 30-minute race this evening. What's going on in the live chat, ladies and gents? What explains why I won't race down? What does? I'm intrigued. Intrigued. 13 of you in the live chat. If you haven't said hello, please do. No one's going to bite. Everyone's friendly in there. We'll all have a little chat. It's all good. And yeah, if you're enjoying the show so far and the coverage, please press like. That would be awesome. So we're watching Neil in his Porsche. currently leading this race. So Duran's still in the pits, Brett Williams is in the pits now as well, as is Franco. So we're pretty much done with the pit stops. Silvestri in. Wow, he's coming in again. So maybe he forgot. Maybe he forgot to do something. I did say it was a really quick pit stop. It was only sort of 16.9 seconds stationary, which normally is about 30. So I then assumed that, well, actually, maybe he didn't change the tyres, or don't know. So something's happened there, and so he finds himself back in the pit. So he's not leading this race, not at all. It's going to be as you were when Woody does come in and pit. So you can see the order there in terms of the greens: Kino, Osorio, Tugberg, and Dom. That was your order previously, so that has sorted itself back out. But you can also see that in terms of the gaps between those individuals before the pit stop, what did we say? Kino had about, what, 3.5, 3.6 seconds over Sergio, and that's now 6.1, so that gap has definitely increased. However, Tugberg has evidently had a good pit stop, because his gap, well, it's now, where is it now? 6.7, so they've all...
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is closed. Woody hasn't pitted. Woody hasn't pitted, and therefore he's going to get disqualified. He's going to pit now, but he thought he could get round. Well, he comes into pit. Is he going to be allowed to do that? That's the question. Let's go to our resident steward. Oh dear, we've got 2 in the pits. So who's that? So Lintel has just stopped in the pit lane. Obviously he's thinking, well, it's closed, therefore my race is over, and then Woody's coming to try and do his pit stop, and then just shunting straight into the back of him. You'll be in the... I will not be in the dungeon all the time, Dale, I'll have you know. I'll have you know. You never know. So Woody's going to pit. Well, it was good while it lasted, Neil. I mean, you know, was first, now not. Okay, let's pick up some action, because we are all, as you can see, which I do tend to find this happens when we have wet races, or when the weather's not particularly friendly, that we have sort of a crazy spell, and then everybody sort of gaps, and then it never comes back together. It never does. So we'll see if that happens this evening. Same thing actually happened on Tuesday night as well. So Keenan is leading this race, net leading this race. Sergio is in second place. We're on board at the moment with Tugberg in his Porsche, followed fairly closely, 2.3 seconds by Dom, and we've got another 4.9. In fact, let's have a run through. Let's give everybody some time. So Duran's having a great race this evening. He's up to 6th place, 4.6 seconds further back from Dom, and then behind him Evan Martinson, who we had a look at earlier on in the 15 Porsche. He's only 1.1. So oh dear, we just saw Dom was turned around at the source, so he's evidently gone in there. Oh, and he's Brizzle's collected him, so Dom probably should have waited a little bit longer there. I mean, you've got to go at some point, but if you've got a track map on, and look, he can't even get straight again, so that's Dom out of this race. Remember, he had a great opportunity this evening to do something because Roman is not racing tonight, so that is really unfortunate. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. Martinson's now into 5th, having a good race. He's having a good race. And then we've got Brizzle is running in 6th place. He's 9.7 seconds further down the road, down the Kemmel Straight, as you can see, into Lacune. That gap, I mean, that's a pretty big gap, isn't it? Sven is in 7th place, only 3.1, so that could develop. That could be a nice little fight between those two Astons. Neil Woodward, as we saw, has done his pit stop and is apparently still in the race, so because it's probably on that lap, it's been allowed to stand, although he's still got the 1 next to his name, so maybe there is going to be a disqualification coming at the end of the race. Alex Tishno in his Audi is still in with a shout. He's running in 9th at the moment, and Rowdy Burns is still in that top 10 in the 51 Porsche. So I think he's going to be very happy with that. Dom finds himself back down in 11th now after having that issue at the source, and that's one of two things. Either he got too tight on the corner entry there, maybe clipped the wall, and that would have bounced him rather than spun him, or more likely he really took a lot of that curve on the inside and probably got on the throttle a tiny little bit too early, and around the back end went. Blanchett is in 12th place in the number 5 Audi. 5.9 further back. Mark Stewart's only 2.3 behind him in his Aston Martin, and I think from what we saw earlier on with Chica, I think if he gets into close proximity, I think he will battle hard, which is good, as long as it's done fairly. Franco is in 14th place. He's 15 seconds down the road in his McLaren, and then we've got Brett Films in his Audi, not having the best of times this evening in 15th. Rockus is in 16th, 2.5 behind Brett, so that could develop. And Tischler is now 1.5 behind Woodward for 8th and 9th, but again, I don't think Woodward's going to actually finish the race properly. Silvestri, as we saw earlier on, was running really well, appeared to have a pit stop from heaven. It was just super quick, then had to come back into the pits, and I think he'd probably missed a portion of what he needed to do at pit stops, so that's unfortunate for him. Danny Lopez in 18th place. He's what, 21.5 seconds further down the road. Then we've got Ronaldo Julie in the 88 Lambo doing alright in 19th place. Jan Hublet there in 20th, SJ Disco 21st, and then Callum is 22nd, Callum Watt in the number 12 Audi. Michael Herbert in his Audi is 23rd, and then Keno is in the pit, so I'm assuming Keno's race is done. James Williams is still running, down in 25th place at the moment, which is unfortunate. Lintel, well, that just says out, well, it's coming out of the pit, so he's evidently had to do an extra stop there, maybe for some damage. And then Ian Thompson is in 27th with Pizzuti in the pits. So Pizzuti and Keno, they look like their race is done. Everybody else looks like they're scrambling around just to try and get the race finished to pick up some points, which at the end of the day, as Michael Races likes to say, to finish first you have to finish. And he does say that all the time. Closest battle, Tischler and Woodward. Everything else is really quite comfortable gaps, really. Let's have a look. Woody might as well go to the end without pit and see where the penalty puts him. Beamer cost him a good 10 seconds anyway. Yeah. Youngie's put a message in there and then he's retracted it, so I'm sure that was probably something not particularly nice about me, but thank you. Let's have a look. Smiley, he's missed the whole window. He just needs to run what he's got and take the pen. Yeah, he does need to do that, Del. He does indeed, and see where he ends up. But at the same token, I mean, I thought it would be an automatic disqualification, because evidently he has not done. It's a mandatory stop. He hasn't completed that. Therefore, wherever he finishes should be void, no? It's just my little take on it, as harsh as that may seem. But rules are rules. So we've got just over 3 minutes left of race one. Started off very eventfully, I have to say, and then as we were approaching the pit stops, and then certainly thereafter, things have settled down. Yeah, I think everyone is now calm. They're used to the conditions. They're more used to the way the car's going to behave. You don't have massive battles going on, although we're going to have a look at this one actually whilst I say that. Where is he? Where's he gone? Where's Raucus? Let's have a look at Raucus, because him and Brett Films, there's only 1.7 between them, and then just behind we've got Silvestri, so I think this will come to a head 15th, 16th and 17th before the end of the race. But yeah, I think everyone's found themselves in a rhythm, found themselves in a comfortable-ish zone within their cars, and yeah, are just playing safe now until the end of the race. And with 2.5 minutes left to go, i.e. one lap, why would you not do that? Now Sean Freeman on the live chat will probably say, no, full send, let's go. I get it, yeah, you should, but I mean, if it's the last lap of the race and there's not anything massive at stake, then just keep hold of your points. As you can see, Silvestri there in the 37 Ferrari closing right up onto the back of Raucus there is evidently quick. We know he's got pace. We know that he's got pace from what he did in free practice and qualifying. It's just unfortunate what happened in the pit stops there has certainly ruined anything he was looking forward to do. And as he dived up the inside, well, he's certainly taken the inside line, and Raucus had absolutely no answer to that at all. So Silvestri now has Brett Films in his sights. Very good driving. I'm sure all you eagle-eyed sim racers there will have watched that and seen when he down changed. Did he deliberately straightened up the steering wheel there so that there was going to be no crazy skittish movement from that Ferrari. That was good. No wonder he was so fast. Who's gone yellow? Oh dear, Tishler's just gone yellow. That's unfortunate for him. He'll get back on board with Silvestri. He is massively closing down Cascanova. I think he's on the final lap. I definitely think there's going to be a challenge coming there. Right, let's see what Dow's actually saying. Any sim racing over the Donny weekend? Yeah, loads. If that was the case, Coops, I'd have left it there. What would you have left there? The message. Thanks, Steve-O. Yes, always so supportive of me. I can't. Anyway, the move is about to happen. Silvestri is about to get that move done. I can feel it. I can see it. It is going to happen. So let's get up close and personal. I would say we could read what's on the back of Cassie's. Steady. He's getting a little bit trigger happy. He wants to get that move done, but again, we've said before, the Ferrari, she's on a knife edge. We're gonna see, is he gonna get a decent run? Maybe he's running slightly lower wing. Maybe his tyres are in a slightly better shape. I don't know, but he is doing extremely well. Keenan's still quite comfortably leading this race. So he's definitely going to get a move done. Who's going to happen? Pulls out along on the outside up towards the bus stop. Is he going to get that move done? Hard on the brakes. Cascanova stays on the inside line, which is a good thing to do. Oh, he's going to hit that sausage curb and they're going to connect. They're going to connect. Oh, well. They do connect. So Silvestri evidently went round the outside in the hope that he was going to put himself in a good position coming out of the bus stop, but instead of doing that, obviously couldn't get the car stopped, couldn't get the car turned in off as they were going into the second part, clipped the sausage curb, and then again he's just a passenger, and Cass is taking his normal line and he's got nowhere to go, hence they both did a little pirouette there, so that is certainly unfortunate. Anyway, let's get back on board now with our race leader, who has led this race from start to finish, Terence Keenan. Absolutely sublime drive from him. No dramas whatsoever. He's kept that Beamer. Ooh, someone's off the track. James Williams there in the 41. I think just thought, I'm going to get out of the way. I think I know what James is doing here. James has got out of the way so that when he crosses the line, when Keenan crosses the line, James will finish. I think that's what he's done there, so he doesn't have to do another lap. Clever. Well done, James.
Has finished the race.
Anyway, Terence Keenan, well done. Congrats. You are the race winner for race 1 this evening in the Rookie Series. A great drive. Boring, uneventful, no dramas, exactly what you would want in this weather. So Keenan finishes first. Sergio gets second place. That's good for his championship. Well done, Sergio Osorio and Tugberg. A very nice podium for him as well. And everyone's going to line up and start doing some donuts there, probably, or they're just going to come and get in shot. There you go. There's them all in shot. There's your podium, guys. I like it. I like it. Well done. I didn't think they were going to do that, but yeah, we can see everyone pull up now, and the Red Kings guys want to get involved. So Serkan Duran finished 4th. That's a great bit of racing from him. Martinson 5th. Alan Brown finished in 6th. Corbin 7th. Woodward finished in 8th place. Yes, I can see your Porsche. It's beautiful. Woodward 8th. Rowdy Burns 9th. Dom finished in 10th in the end. And then we had Ishner 11th. Blanchett 12th. Stewart finished 13th. Franco 14th. Well, they haven't actually even finished yet. They're just coming across the line now. So we'll... Oh, is that going to be a move right at the end? So it's Blanchett and Stewart. Stewart's got ahead. Look at that. On the line, Mark Stewart takes 12th place ahead of Blanchett. Well done, boys. That was a decent finish. And Franco, where's Franco? Let's have a look at him. Robert Franco there. So he's just coming down now towards the bus stop. He's going to finish in 14th place. Well done to you, Robert Franco. Good drive, mate. Good to see. You can hear the fireworks going off in the background for our race winner, Terence Keenan. So Franco finishes in 14th place. And then we've got Rocas in his Mercedes. He's going to come across the line in 15th. Cascanova, again. And oh dear, Cascanova and Silvestri, they look like they're going to be best friends, those two. So again, they've come together at the same place that they did the lap before. They've swapped paint again, and Vims is 16th, Silvestri 17th. I'm sure there's going to be discussion about that one afterwards. Lopez is coming up towards the bus stop. He's going to finish in 18th position if he can keep it on track, which I'm sure he will. I'm not saying he won't. We'll see him finish the race. Yeah, thank you, Dal. I tried to make it easy. We've still got 14 watching, guys. We've just had a pretty, well, you know, it was a manic start to the race, I'll give it that. Lopez finishes 18th there. Let's have a look at Rinaldi Julie. He's coming across the line in 19th. Well done to you, Reynaldo. Jan Hublet there in 20th. SJ Disco 21st. Then we've got Callum 22nd. Herbert 23rd. James Williams finished in 24th place. Lintel in his BMW 25th, Chicas 26th, and then we had Kino 27th and Pizzuti 28th. Those two did not finish the race. So let's get rid of that. And we shall wait. So that was race 1, 30 minutes. So anyone that's just joined us, we had a really good qualifying session. Yeah, given the conditions, okay, you can see it's pretty wet. 21 in terms of temperatures, they haven't changed. And yeah, a pretty good qualifying session. The start of the race was quite good. There was a couple of incidents, nothing major. No one, you know, it wasn't like a mass sort of execution down at the COMMS or anything like that. It was a good start. Everyone was clean, good racing, and then the pit stops happened and things kind of spread out a little bit. And then we had a little bit of action at the end, specifically with Cascanova and Silvestri twice. Coming together at the bus stop chicane as number 96 just comes round. Who is 96? Don't know. Right, number 96 comes round now to complete Mr. Stewart. Okay, so he went round and did another lap. So what have we got in store now, guys and girls? Well, we've got another 30-minute race. Now, the weather, I could just see it has just dropped a bit again in terms of temperature. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be dark, but it is going to be dark. So the second race, what we've got is 10 p.m. kickoff in terms of local time. And, yeah, so it's going to be dark and potentially wet. Or just dark. Got to keep them on the toes. What's going to happen? Kagataka says, Dally, you joining next season, PC or PlayStation. Mr. Brown says, hey, Coops, hope you well, mate. I'm all good, Brizzle. Thank you for jumping in. Anyone who hasn't said hi yet, you know what to do. Just say hello in there. No one's going to bite. We'll all have a chat with you as we wait to get this second session underway. Whilst we do that, let's remind ourselves. Let's remind ourselves of the calendar, shall we? Just in case any of you are watching that are new to this and thinking, well, what other race nights do Formula Racing League do? Remember, we do stuff over PS4, PS5, and of course PC, which we're doing this evening. So on Tuesdays, we have the Super Sprint Series, which is always brings a lot of drama. It's 2 25-minute races with 2 10-minute qualifying sessions. No pit stops in that at all. No tyres, no fuel. It's just absolutely go for it. And then we've got this series, which is the Rookies on a Thursday, 8 o'clock starting for qualifying. And again, it's brilliant for people that have just joined us who are wanting to get more experience. It's wet and it's dark. You've got to see it a minute. Oh my God. There is testing and then there is testing. So yeah, the Rookies on a Thursday, and that's 2 30-minute races with 1 qualifying session. And then on the Friday, we've got the Pure Simgear GT3, which is a full hour race with pit stop. And that's where the big boys go that are in FRL. That's where everyone wants to be on a Friday evening. And then we've got our various endurance races and one-off races that take place. If you're interested in Genettas, they are actually running a Genetta race on the 5th of October next Wednesday, which I'm doing comms for. And that's a special event. I think it's at Donny. That's going to be pretty epic. So it's just going to be all Genettas. So, you know, we'll see how that one pans out. I'm sure it will be very entertaining. So as you can see, I need to get off that. Come on, get off that. So we're gonna now just have a little bit of a wait. Let me check. We've got all of those bits on the screen for you guys and girls. What do we think is going to happen in race 2? Considering, you know, race 1 was good. It was a good race. It's challenging conditions. Yeah, it's wet. It is Spa. It's not an easy track to do well at in the best of times. But as you can see, if you watched last night, the second race last night was also dark. And it throws up its own challenges, doesn't it? Now imagine you're sat there, imagine you're Dom now, you're sat there, it's dark, it's still raining. It's quite depressing really, isn't it? It's like almost like you're from Coventry. Steve. Yes, or Scotland probably. So it looks quite depressing, and he's probably thinking, he's got to get that spin at the source out of his head. If he can't do that, he's going to struggle in this second race, and that's going to affect his championships. Remember, we've only got 2 rounds left after this one, so he needs to make sure he's picking up half decent haul of points so that he can at least potentially challenge Roman in the penultimate round next week, which I believe is at Kyle Army. Which, yeah, I mean, everyone loves Kyle Army, don't they? Have to crack on with that. Let's have a look in the live chat whilst we wait to get this one underway. Kaga's wishing Dal a speedy recovery. Certainly, I think we all echo that. Dalkin's in. Hey Dal, how you doing? Good to see you on the stream this evening, sir. It is good to see you in there. When you missed the pit window by 5-10 seconds caused me to go from P8 to P18. Well, I know, Neil, but I mean, don't miss the pit window. I know it's not easy, it's wet. But yeah, and then Dal, and Kaga are still talking. But good to see you in, Dalkin. You'll probably notice I do jump on your streams quite often. Wish you good luck. So yeah, please leave a like. You know, that would be like amazing. That'd be awesome. Right, let's get on board. So we're going to start the formation lap for race 2. Remember, 30 minutes. There is going to be a pit stop. Just going to make sure that we have got all of those settings set up. Let's put that on. Right, okay, so we are good to go. Mandatory stop set up. We can go on Headicam to start with. So again, imagine, I mean, last time out they couldn't see much because of the spray anyway. Add in the fact that the daylight has now disappeared, they've really got to be driving on their wits, and especially in the live chat, anyone who's experienced potentially Dalkin could maybe pop something in there and just let them know how much it really does attack the senses when you're driving in the wet and at night. And I think this is going to be, well, it's going to be crazy. That's what I think. I'm not saying all of Scotland. I'm not saying it's depressing. I'm sure it is lovely and beautiful, but that's only if you've got your eyes closed. No, honestly, I'm Scottish anyway myself. Honestly. But there we go. Right, so Dom, formation lap is really important on this one. Again, they're going to just be looking to get everything set up. Let's go on board with Evan Martinson in his Porsche. Let's see what he can see through there. Not a great deal, and again, this is not the worst that you would ever see the weather on ACC. Indeed, I've seen some races where you literally can't see in front of your face. It's horrendous. You can't see the rain lights, you can't see the rear lights. So you are literally driving off your instincts. Which I think, if the FRL admin weathermen and women decided to go that far, I mean, you might scare the rookies off for life. To be fair. Again, so just trying to put some heat cycles through those tyres, really important. Although they're not going to be going like ridiculously fast, obviously, as what they would be in the dry in the day. But they need to make sure that they've got enough heat in the tyres so that they work, that they stop, because evidently in the run all the way down the Camel Straight, those brakes are going to cool. The tyres will continue to cool, especially with the conditions. With it being wet on track, everything's going to continue to cool. They're going to end up in that braking zone, which, as I will say, in race 1, everybody was extremely well behaved. Cannot deny that. That was race 1. They might be thinking differently now for race 2. So we've got behind Serkan Duran. He had a fantastic race, didn't he? Finished 4th. I was really impressed with him in that race. And I think Serkan's been with us, 2 seasons now? And I think he's followed a very similar journey to most people do when they join Formula Racing, and especially on the PC side. You know, if they're not massively experienced, you know, they've got that kind of, you know, they want to make a name for themselves. They really want to make a mark, and so they probably try too hard, probably overdrive a little bit. And Duran, I think in his first season, definitely did that. and I remember it clearly because of the nickname that I gave him. But he seems to have settled nicely now. He's aware of some of the other drivers, how they drive, which is the beauty of league racing. And he's now performing consistently, which is good to see. And there we go, Evan Martinson in the 15 Porsche then, as we come through Blanchimont on the run down towards the bus stop chicane. Everyone's going to start forming up. I'm sure Silvestri is going to want to have a cleaner race than what happened last time out. But yeah, we're soon going to be underway for race 2. Remember, 30 minutes, 1 pit stop, mandatory. They have to take tyres. Fuel is optional. So just make sure, Neil, let me get into the pits on time this time. That would probably be quite handy. Right. Are we ready, ladies and gents? So, again, remember, they're not going to start on this side, they'll start around the other side. Keenan is going to be hoping for exactly the same. Now, Sergio obviously started alongside him in the last race, and will probably be thinking, okay, this is what he did in the last start. How can I try and affect that? Or what can I do differently at the start of this race to try and get ahead and stay clean and build a gap? So, well, let's get ready into the source. 30 minutes, easy racing, no problem at all. Okay, down we go. We're ready. I'm ready. So we're on board with Keenan. Again, for the start, we're about to go green. And we are good. Green. Go. Go, go, go. We're off. 30 minutes. Formula Racing League Rookie Series. This is race 2 of the evening. Let's see what that looks like through there. Anyone close? Well, yeah, I think Sergio's just a little bit closer. You can see the rain light flashing on the front of his bumper there. Takes a tiny bit. That's going to slow him up a little bit. So we've now got a challenge. We've definitely now got a challenge on the way down to Lacoon, and it would be great. It does finally work. So they go side by side into Lacoon for the first time. Need to pan out a little bit from that. Sergio's taken real inside line there. As has Tugberg. No crash there at the moment. They just stay on board this challenge on the way down towards Brussels for the first time. They all file through there. There's a couple further back who look like they're getting a bit close, and that is Martinson and Serkan Duran as they go into Brussels side by side. Let's not have any touching just yet, boys. And Woodward's just behind in his Porsche. He's looking to close up the gap as well. So through No Name for the first time. Let's see if they can all keep those cars on track. And then just behind you've got Fresh Brizzle, Alan Brown, who is ninth in his Aston. Brizzle moves out. He wants to make a move, doesn't he? Let's see if he can make a move into Podium for the first time in his Aston Martin. See a little bit of spray kicking up there. That wouldn't be too much to put you off necessarily. Woodward goes wide. Brown can't. He thought about trying to jump up the inside of him there, but you can't do that there because you're just not going to have the grip on the tyres at that stage. You're just going to probably understeer straight into the side of that Porsche in front of you. As we can see, Marco Pizzuti just in front. He is still running quite nicely as well in 10th place. So everybody's behaving themselves so far, which is what I want to see. And who was that? Was that Duran who just went a little bit wide then? Let's have a look. No, but Martinson, he's just come under pressure. He's massively under pressure at the moment. So Duran's got himself a little warning there. So there was definitely some form of contact. Keenan up front, he's doing what he needs to do. I'm not sure why the timings are not sorted themselves out properly. I'll need you to watch this for 1 sec while I just check something. No, race caps is correct. Okay, we'll see. I'm sure it will figure itself out very shortly. Hopefully, anyway. So, into the bus stop we go. Duran, Martinson, Brown, Woodward. That is a good fight between these two. And he's just pulled over in the pits. Duran has come into the pits, as has Dom. So that Dom isn't in the pits. Why is Duran coming into the pits? That's very odd. Very odd of him to do that. Anyway, so back with the race, and you can see there Pizzuti in his Ferrari just behind the blue Aston of Alan Brown. He thought about making a move into the source as we come all the way down through a Rouge. Up Radion. Careful, Evan. Yeah, didn't want to get on the power there, did he? So he's now he's sitting in the toe of Domikos. Don't think he's going to have enough of that. What about the gap behind? That looks pretty comfortable. These two look anything but comfortable, do they? Look at them. Into Lacombe, Brizzle and Woodward. Oh, Brizzle goes a little bit deep there, and that's allowed Pizzuti to close up on the back of him. He's the yellow Ferrari. And then you've got Corvin just behind him. He's not too far out of the country. Rowdy Burns in his Porsche is doing what he did in the last race, although you can see he goes pretty wide there. He's got himself up to 11th. Kishner manages to get that move done alongside James Williams, so they both take advantage of the fact that Rowdy Burns went wide in his Porsche. So again, we've got lots of bits going on all over the track. Further down the grid, because we need to make sure everyone's having a good time, don't we? Further down the grid, what we've got there, Lintel, where's he? He's absolutely nose to tail. Blanchette. Oh, who was that? He just absolutely died. That was SJ Disco. SJ Disco. Oh, and he's taken out his teammate. Wow. Well, boys and girls, Pascanova's not having a good evening, is he? He's been a magnet this evening. I don't think there was too much you could do about that, because we saw SJ Disco was tumbling down the order, so he's probably had a spin somewhere, or certainly had some contact, and that's Herbert now putting the pressure on. Michael Herbert in the 46 putting the pressure on. Brett Films gets that move done. There's no point in Cass fighting him at that stage. But we saw Lintel probably had that spin, and Cass probably couldn't do anything apart from get out of the way. So he finds himself down in 17th now. Rokos is in 17th place currently, and he's got Callum Watt just behind him, just a second down the road. We've got more contact going on between Jan and Thompson. So Chica and Jan are getting a little bit close, aren't they? Yes, they are. And then behind them we've got Danny Lopez. He's getting involved in this as well. Terence Kinnan does a 2:30.525, fastest lap of the race. And we've got a nice little quartet here having an absolute nose-to-tail battle. Brilliant to see. A nice little kick of flames there from that McLaren of Danny Lopez, but he's not really too bothered about what's behind him too much. You know, he's got Julie behind him who's gone a bit deep there, but he's looking in front. He's gone deep as well. So that's Robert Franco. He's just lost the place to Ian Thompson. Sorry, not Robert Franco. That's Jan Hugler in his BMW. He's just lost the place to Chica in the white Lambos, you can see, but they are all finding somewhere on the track to try and outmaneuver each other as they go into the source. Some great race. Oh dear, so Jan had to back out the brakes there. He thought he was probably going to hit Chica, so you could see, you actually physically saw his stamp on the brakes, and obviously that meant that Daniel Lopez, he probably didn't anticipate that was going to happen, and he ended up just giving him a little love tap there, and that's brought Reynaldo Judy straight back into play in his Lamborghini as they come over the top already on down the Camel Straight again. 5-6 minutes completed of the race so far. What do you reckon, guys and girls? It's been pretty good, hasn't it? Pretty good so far. What do you reckon, live chat? You love it? Great. Perfect. Thank you very much. 13 of you still in watching at the moment. This is, if you've just joined us, the Formula Racing League rookie season. This is race 2. Oh, as you can see there, well, that was Danny Lopez and Reynaldo Judy. They almost swapped a bit of paint. Thankfully, they didn't. They go down towards Bruzel's there. So we've got fights happening all over the grid at the moment. Let's go further up the grid. James Williams, where is he? Where are you, Mr. Williams? 13th. There you go. Him and Rowdy Burns getting rather close. Or they were. It was 0.3. That move looked like it's been done. So Blanchett is behind James, and what's he got behind him? Wow, he's got Mark Stewart behind him, the 96 Aston, and we saw in race 1 Mark Stewart isn't afraid to get the elbows out if he feels he needs to, so I mean Blanchett won't know that, will he, because he doesn't watch the stream, so we're going to have to see how that particularly develops over the next lap or so. But Mark Stewart does have some good pace in that yellow Aston. He does have good pace in that. You see what happens. Pizzuti and Corvin, wow, Pizzuti's falling down the times at the moment, so he's had an issue there. So he's lost a couple of places, and Neil Woodward's also just dropped a place. So Fresh Brizzle's got a move done on him, which has been coming for a few laps, I have to say. Got some nice battles going on this evening as they all file into there. It's still nicely gapped. Terence Keenan has built 2.3 seconds at the front. Sergio is second, 3.6 seconds ahead of Tucker. That sounds pretty familiar. That was your podium from race 1, and then Silvestri again. Similar from race 1 until the pit stops. Dom is in 5th. Martinson's doing pretty well, actually. I think he's having a good race in that Porsche. He's in 6th place, 0.7 behind Dom. So that one's moving alright. And then we're looking at Alan Brown in the 738 Aston Martin. He's currently in P7. Again, he's only been on PC probably for 6 weeks, so he's doing really well in that port over from the PS5. And ladies and gents, if you do have a PS5, the 1.8 update was actually released today, and I had to go on it earlier on this evening, and it does hit the mark. It does hit the mark. Interested to know what you guys think of the live chat, but certainly from my perspective, it's a vast improvement on what we had on the PS5 previously. So trying to catch up with these boys. Anyway, Pizzuti finds himself just in front of Tischler, and Tischler and Burns, they're having a good little dice, aren't they? They certainly are. Let's have a look at that. So we're looking back from Alex Tischler's 32 Audi at the 51 Porsche Rowdy Burns. Remember, he had a top 10 finish in race 1. Did really well, actually. James Williams in his Pink Pig is just slightly down the road a little bit there. So these guys are all doing quite nicely, aren't they? Martinson's only 0.3 behind Kiss, so we've got to go and have a look at that. We have to go and check this one out. Just having a listen to how he's treating that Porsche, what he's doing on the throttle. It's cautious, isn't it? Has to be. Right, Corvin, Pizzuti, 0.4 between these two, so we need to go and have a look at it, don't we? We do indeed. This is going to be close, there's going to be a move, there is going to be a move. I doubt there's going to be a move into Blanchimon, but you can see Corbin is just moving around a bit in his Aston. He's just trying to get into the mind of Neil, trying to set him up, get him offline, and they've both ended up, as happens when you're racing. I say this all the time, when you're racing and you're in that and it's intense, and you're focusing on an individual that you're trying to have a race against as they go side by side into the bus stop. Pit window is open. Is then they're going to dart into the pits? Does not look like it at the moment. No, they don't. But Neil manages to keep ahead. Mr. Bannon, well, Brisbane Pete decides he's going to pit early, get out of the issues, try and come out with some free air, with some fresh boots on that might be better pressured. And look at that, that's Pizzuto dives up the inside there. Wow, he does dive up the inside, doesn't he? And Sven gets turned around. So who was that? Sven and Tischler, they've come together there. That was a nice return to track there, boys. It looks very nice, but don't kill everyone. Don't kill everyone. It's absolute chaos at the edge of the source. And I think, yeah, just stay there. Stay there. Oh dear, as you can see, Alan Brown's now just trundling down the pit lane there on the right hand side of your screen, which is probably going to take him about 8 years because the pit lane is that long at Spa. Back with your race leader, Terence Keenan in the 78 BMW. His lead has been cut though. It was 2.8 seconds, wasn't it? It's now 1.8, so Sergio's trying to put some pressure on before we do the pit stops. And fair play to him. You know, he's got a decent pace in his Aston behind Keenan, but Tugberg seems to have fallen back off from these two. So Tugberg in 36.2, Silvestri still in 4, 3.3, Dom still 5th, 2.3, and then Martinson in his Porsche, that gap is still around about a second. So those guys are all driving very similar times at the moment. Pizzuti in 7th is 13.5 seconds further down the road, and James Williams in 8th. James Williams is in 8th. Well, we need to have a look at that. He's having a nice drive then, isn't he? So the number 41, Watt's gone yellow from 16th place. He's falling down the grid, so evidently he's had enough somewhere. We'll have a look at, well, we won't have a look at it because every time I go and use the replay function over the last couple of race evenings, it just freezes on me. It's quite annoying, so we won't bother with that unless they swing through there. Fantastic, beautiful shots, and it's not that bad. You can see quite a lot. So go through Stanley, you can see enough. Oh, push can. Right, has James got anything to worry about behind? No, he doesn't. He can focus fully, absolutely fully focus on the back of Pizzuti. He's definitely closing, isn't he? He certainly is closing on. Backed out there, probably wise. Again, I was saying before, when you're in the heat of battle with someone, sorry, I got sidetracked evidently as it came to the bus stop. When you're really in the heat of battle with somebody, it's really easy because you're focused on that person so much. As James decides, yeah, I'm going to dump it in the pits and try and get a better pit stop done. That's potentially wise there. You can easily find yourself really following the exact lines of the person in front, whether they're good, bad, or in different lines, because you're that focused, or you're trying to think like them, or you're trying to outthink what they're going to do. And you see it all the time. I see it absolutely all the time. Anyway, who do we have in the pits at the moment? Silvestri's in the pits. Kiss is in the pits, Martinson's in the pits, Williams is in the pits, Blanchett is also currently in the pits, getting their pit stops done. Duran's in the pits, Brown's in the pits, Thompson is, completed their pit stops. Sorry, Brown, Thompson, Herbert and Lopez have completed their stops. Williams, Blanchett and Watt are in the pits, and then Brett Films, Disco and Keane, are they all done? They are all done. So, Brett Films, Red Kings Motorsport. Same with Disco, Red Kings Motorsport. David Keane, Red Kings Motorsport. So currently I do believe Martinson will be your only surviving, if my memory serves me correctly, Red Kings Motorsport driver out there at the moment, which is certainly a shame. Quick look in the live chat. Oh, Cass is coming. Hello, what happened, mate? Don't go swearing on my stream, Cass, but you and Silvestri certainly seem to get to know each other quite well at the end of race 1 at the bus stop chicane multiple times. Yeah, unlucky there, mate. Unlucky. 13 of you still with us this evening. It's great to see everybody in. Great to see. Who are you supporting? I always want to know that. So many of you sit there silently watching. You don't have to. No one's going to bite. If you want to do a shout out to anyone, let me know. If you've got any interesting facts about any of the drivers you're supporting, let me know. Let's share the love. So your top 3 are unchanged. So Keenan, Sorio and Tuckburn 1, 2 and 3. Your top 4's unchanged actually. Rowdy finds himself now up into 5th. I'm sure he's happy with that. With Neil Woodward, Terence Keenan decides he is now going to come into the pit, and he's swiftly followed, as you can see, by Sergio. So that's definitely a case of, well, you know, I'm not going to let him get away on that one. We're just going to follow him through and try and play it safe. As does Tuckberg, he comes in as well. So your top 3 are in. Halfway through the race, well, probably about 5 minutes of the pit window left. So maybe Pizzuti and Burns will also come in, or they'll stay out and try and go long. We shall see. Right, where else are we close? Tischler, he's had an eventful race this evening, hasn't he? So he is desperately trying to chase down Rocas in front. So this is for 9th and 10th. And we know Rocas has got some good pace as he goes in the pits, and Alex decides he's going to follow him in. So we don't need to watch a pit lane race, do we? No, we don't indeed. So let's have a look at Sven. Who's Sven battling with? Well, Sven isn't anymore because he's coming into the pitch, which is allowed. Jan, he's coming in the pits as well. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for a pit break as well, I think. That's about it, really. Who stood out? Neil Woodward. He's taking the... Neil, it's wet and it's at Spa. Yeah. And lightning does sometimes strike twice. And if you guys are watching thinking, what are you talking about, Coops? Well, Neil did exactly the same strategy in race 1. He went long, he was leading the race, but he missed the pit window. The pit window closed, he missed it by about 5 seconds, and therefore, well, didn't finish where he wanted to. Or may even have been disqualified. I'm yet to get a confirmation of that. I know it's at least a 130-second penalty. So let's hope he doesn't miss the pit window this time. We'll find out though, won't we? Let's have a look. Cass says, in race 1, Kino turned and spun into me. That is a shame. Race 2, Skaz did it. Well, it's all good teammates and all that. Simon Turner says, Coops, can I use your logo on my livery? You certainly can. Of course you can. Supposing James Sinas is up into 8. Yeah, I know. It's good, isn't it? And Brizzle. But I have said before, you know, obviously we've all been together because we're all a big family. But in all seriousnness, I know we're now the biggest group on SimGrid, which is fantastic. And we are putting on some great events, great league events, brilliant one-offs, invitational stuff. There's the 24 hours of Spa coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So, Dalkin, if you're watching, get involved. It would be absolutely awesome if somebody like you would enter that race and bring along a fast friend. Yeah, because, you know, all our guys probably think they could beat you. No, they don't, but I mean, you never know. It would just be brilliant. It would be awesome for the league and FRL in general, and it gives you something else to conquer. But yeah, I know we're doing all these great things, but a lot of us all started together on the PS4. And you're now seeing those guys, although Neil's not actually following the track at the moment, but you're seeing a lot of these guys have now come across to PC and have made the jump and have invested more in their equipment and their time, and you know, it's a tight group. Well done, Neil. Get across the line quick, go. And now doing really well on PC. It's actually really nice to see. Evidently, it's great to see all the new names, and those people then end up staying. But it is good to see, you know, your own moving on and doing well. So yeah. Anyway, that's my speech. So actually, quick, Simon. I know you're talking about the logo. You can. I rent it out for £18 an hour, a minute. Sorry. Do something like that. No, mate, I'll DM me afterwards. I'll send it over to you. It's fine. Do what you want with it. No problem at all, buddy. As we can see, so Franco is in the pits. Right, let's pick up your net race leader, which surprisingly is this man, Terence Keenan. He's got 11 minutes. 11 minutes left to go, so 4 laps. Potentially 5, depending on how quick he can get round to go until he could potentially have his second top step of the evening, and that would be a good evening's work, wouldn't it? Sergio's still in second place, just under 6 seconds down the road. Tuckberg is still in third. Dom is still fourth. Aha, we do have a change there though, look at that. So Silvestri was in sixth, he now finds himself in net. Yeah, he now finds himself behind Martinson. So the only remaining, by my calculation, RKM chap is doing them proud at the moment towards the front. I have been impressed with him. And then we've got Alan Brown, James Williams now. Now, we'll see if this happens, yeah. I'm going to make a prediction here. Obviously, I watch and do the comms multiple times a week. I know everybody pretty well. I know how everybody... I like to think, after doing this for so long, I like to know how most people think. And what actions they're going to take. And now we're watching Alan Brown at the moment. He's in 7th. James Williams is in 8th.
The window is now closed.
Since Fresh Prism, Alan Brown's come across to PC, obviously James Williams, he runs Formula Racing League with the rest of us in the admin team. But James is obviously the spearhead of that. And every time Alan and James get together on track, it's like rolling out the red carpet for the Queen, or the King now I should say. And he always just gives James a really wide berth or lets him past. And he actually even said last night, because they in the AM class they finished 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th. Alan actually said, look, if James was close enough, he would have moved over and let him through. I'm like, what are you doing that for? It's a race. Take your spot. You know? So we'll see. I'm expecting him to pull over in a minute and just let him catch up to him. That's where I'm getting to with that whole backstory to it. But we'll see. See what happens. But in the meantime, we've now got Silvestri, who I think is probably carrying a bit of damage, or that tyre pit stop he's done hasn't worked out for him particularly well, because you can see he's now massively dropped off the back of Martinson to the tune of 7.7 seconds. He's falling into the clutches of Brown's Aston Martin. There's only 1.2 between them. So that race, again, it's not going Silvestri's way at the moment, but just got to keep plugging away and we'll see what he can achieve. So James is in 8th. Keep an eye on this one at the moment. Woodward's now in 9th after completing that pit stop. Pazuti's in 10th place. And then Rowdy Burns finds himself in 11th. I'm sure Rowdy would love to get himself back into the top 10 again for race 2. Chica finds himself in 13th place. He's only 0.7 behind Rocker. So let's have a look at these two having a little fight. What is... Del, I'm just looking at the live chat, right? At £500 a race, yes, that would be good. Yeah, because someone's got to pay for the electricity somehow. And I'm saying, Alan, are you saying whip there, I assume? Yeah, you are, because of where the W and the S is on the PC. No, I'm not saying he's a wimp. I didn't say that, Del. What I said is too courteous. Yeah. Too courteous as we go into the source. There we go. Ian Thompson, he makes a move up the inside. Is he going to hold that? That's the question. Is he going to hold it? He has. Well done, Ian Thompson. Puts himself up into 12th place. So Rockus, he's now got to chase him all the way down towards Eau Rouge and then up Radion. Let's have a look at it from this perspective. Don't die. Don't die, Chica. Which he didn't, because last time we did that, he ended up going into the wall, didn't he? But well done to you, Chica, up to 12th place. Sven's in, sorry, so Rockas is now in 13th. Ryan Blanchett is 14th, he's 4 seconds down the road. Sven's in 15th, 3.8 behind. Mark Stewart 16th, and then Lintel. Well, where's Ian? Let's have a look at Ian. He is right on the back on that move. It's just being done now. Remember, we did say before that Mark Stewart is quite happy to get his elbows out, but Ian Lintel in the BMW manages to get that pass done. Let's just hope he hasn't taken too much speed into Lacombe. He hasn't. Gets that car tucked in quite nicely, so that is a pass for position. Ian moves up to 16th. Mark Stewart moves back down to 17th. I'm sure he's going to want to try and get that position back. We don't know the state of the tyres. We don't know if he's carrying any damage, do we? These are all the unknowns that we've got to try and figure out whilst watching this. And then we've got Robert Franco in 19th, and Ronaldo Julie is currently in the top 20 at the moment, so that's good for him. Serkan Duran, remember, absolutely fantastic race in race 1, finished 4th, qualified in 7th overall. Good start to this race, ended up going in the pits, I think, at the end of lap 1. So I'm thinking maybe he started the race and he was probably on the wrong setting, probably hadn't put the fuel in, so then had to go in and do his pit stop for fuel, and then go back in and do his pit stop when the window opened, which evidently has ruined his race so far. Michael Herbert is 22nd in his Audi, Daniel Lopez is 23rd, and then we've got Callum Watt 24th, and Jan Hubler is in 25th, and the rest are in the pits and not going to finish. That is where we are at the moment. So Sergio in second place. He's got a 7.7 second deficit to make up somewhere. I can't see it happening, but let's go back to Mark Stewart actually, because I'm trying to give everybody some decent airtime this evening, and Mark Stewart is fighting back. 0.7 seconds behind. He is fighting back. Aston time. They're looking pretty close. Oh dear, oh dear. So Ian went wide there out of the bus stop. He definitely went wide, and that's allowed Stewart to get right alongside. Wow, not alongside. Evidently managed to get better traction out of the bus stop, and that was enough to take him back ahead. So after Mark Stewart lost that less than a lap ago, he's managed to gain that position back. So Ian's got all the work to do in his BMW again, and we've got Ronaldo is flashed up on my screen and dropping down the time, so it looks like he's probably had a crash of some sort there. Let's see where he is. There he is, coming out the bus stop, and he's got Callum just behind him. Oh, sorry, he's got Daniel Lopez just in front of him. Callum Watt, he's still running in 24th. There he is, in the number 12 Audi. I think he's borrowed that from someone rather famous. It should be on a bike instead of a car. And then Yanni's still running. There he is, in 25th place, the 155. So Yanni's still going. This, these are the things. The rookie series is really important, because you know what? Even if you are running last, or if you're running first from last, or if you've had a bad race, these are the races where you should be doing that, if you know what I mean. These are the times to get those experiences and learn from them, and then in the next race try and take a little bit on, or the next wet race that you have, because we put those on for the rookies. Okay, I know how to handle that a bit better, or how the car's going to behave a little bit better. It's all really important stuff, which I think helps everybody. As Pazzuti in 10th place, he's on him. He's on the back of Woodward. So let's see, Ferrari versus Porsche. This could either be a nice clean pass, or we're going to have two pirouetting divas. Excuse the pause there as we're watching this bit of action. I'm just reading the reply from Dal when he said about simp, and I asked him what that meant, and he's given me a very good lesson there, so thank you, Dal. I will certainly look forward to the test on that afterwards. And Skaz is saying Brian Evan, yeah, he's supporting him, and he's obviously Skaz may have said that he did a bit of a mistake. It's alright, mate, it happens. And then I'm not going to read the next thing from what Dal says. Skaz says, I simp for Coops. Why would you do that? I don't know why either. Right, still got 13 in, guys and girls. It's brilliant. If you haven't pressed like, come on, this is some epic racing we've got going on here. We're all working hard. If you haven't pressed like, do it, please. It takes half a second. It means a lot to me, and it really helps the channel out with getting more people to see all these great gentlemen racing this evening and in future races. So Pizzuti, he's hunting down Neil Woodward, wants that position, doesn't he? That is closest battle on track, along with Ryan Blanchett in 15th. He's 0.7 behind Sven in 14th, so we will dip and have a look at that. Tugbird looks like he's actually putting on a bit of pressure in 3rd place on Sergio. That gap is now 2.8 seconds, so certainly enough for him, for Sergio, to know that he's within striking distance if any mistakes happen. However, we've got 1 minute 30 left of the race. Blanchett, Pizzuti goes up a little bit wayward there, but let's get on board with Blanchett. Who's chasing down? Sven. So this is for 14th place. Again, just, you gotta love it. You gotta love what they're doing. Yeah, that's right, Del. Finally, me with no words. Doesn't happen very often, mind, does it? Even when I'm sleeping, I'm still reading off track guides and stuff like that. Apparently. Right, so Keenan's on the final lap. You just heard that come through from our beautiful, well, very helpful spotter friend. Didn't say too much, was really. Anyway, let's see if we can pick up any close battles before we move on. So Serkan Duran is only a second behind Tischler, and Tischler's only a second behind Franco, down in 18th place. So you know what we need to do with that, don't we? Get on board with Tischler. Let's see what's going on in front. Behind first. Oh well, that's what's going on. You're about to lose that place. Serkan Duran, so Tischler went wide there. Serkan took him out. But I do believe that we just had Sven. No, not Sven. Franco just went for an absolute spin, didn't he? I think he was feeling the pressure from those two, and he lost it. And that back end, she just went round and round, and that's ruined his race, unfortunately. So in terms of other close battles, again, it's Blanchett is 1.3 and Tischler's 1.2. At the front of the grid, they're all pretty well gapped at the moment. So I'm going to do what we should do, actually. I'm going to get on board and we're going to see what it's like to finish the lap on board with our current race leader. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm not going to put a curse on it as we go through No Name on the run down towards Poo on there. Just take it easy, Terence. There's no need to rush now, mate. You've got 9 seconds pretty much in the bag. Everything's looking good there. Nothing else is happening on my timing screens. I need to make you guys aware of at the moment. And up towards campus for the last time. Just keep it nice and smooth through there. A little bit of understeer you saw, but at the speed he's going, that was easily dealt with. So the BMW M4 again proves that she is a worthy contender. I know she's not OP like she was when she first came out, but you know, again, if you have a look in the COMMS cars section on my channel, you can see the review that I did on the BMW M4. She's planted in stable, and Rockus has just gone yellow, and he's now falling down the timesheets. He's lost 2 places at the moment, so he's probably had a spin, unfortunately. He's moved down to 15th as we go through Blanchemont for the final time and up towards the bus stop chicane. So here you go, ladies and gents. Terence Keenan, after another hard 30 minutes of work, keeping it together, keeping calm, keeping cool, keeping collected, flashing away. Well done, Terence. Race 2, P1, 2 victories this evening. Well done. That was a very, very good drive, and you've got 9 seconds now to the stream to yourself. 9 seconds, maybe a quick donut? Yes, of course. There's a tree in the way though, Terry. That's better. Right, Sergio, well done to you, Sergio. Second place again, another second place for him. And Tugbird, well done for a P3 as you all come and line up together. Well done, you three. Same podium as in race 1. Dom had a better finish this time. He finished in 4th place. There he is in the pits already. Martinson, great race from you in the Porsche. Really impressed with that, mate. 5th place finish. Gianmarco Silvestri will be much happier with that finish, P6. Than what he did in the first race. Alan Brown finished in 7th, that's nice. James Williams, that may be a season's best, potentially there. I'll need to have a look back at the sheets, but 8th place for James in his Pink Pig, that was impressive. Neil Woodward is going to come home. There we go, he comes home and takes 9th place, followed rather closely by Marco Pizzuti, who is in 10th. There is your top 10. Brady Burns finishes 11th, so a 10th member for him tonight, that's pretty good. And then Chica finishes in 12th, Ian Thompson. Sven Corbin finishes, or is about to finish, in 13th, with Ryan Blanchett just behind him. 15th with Rockas flashing away behind him in 15th place. Mark Stewart had an eventful couple of races, good driving, I've got to say. He finished in 16th. Ian Lintel finished in 17th. Serkan Duran, not the best race for him in terms of the start. I'll be interested to know if my prediction's right there. He finished 18th. 19th is Tischler in his Audi. Was involved in some good battles with both races, got to say that. Then we've got Robert Franco's just crossing the line in 20th. Michael Herbert, again, he's just finished in 21st. Daniel Lopez is just coming out the bus stop. He's going to finish in 22nd. Well done to you, mate. Callum Watts, he's just coming down now into the bus stop. He's going to take 23rd. And then just behind him, we'll watch him across the line. That is the right thing to do. Well done, Callum. Finished that race, buddy. Well done. Picked up some points. Jan is coming across the line to finish 24th, and then Julie has finished in 25th. Brett Vilms, SJ Disco, David Keane did not finish the race. So, well, what do we all make of that? I think we have to say that was pretty epic. I mean, you know, rookies races, not all rookies, they're not all first timers. I think everyone's done pretty well. That was really difficult. You know, you've got to think, we're at Spa, it's not an easy track anyway. You've got the weather conditions, you've got the wet, you've got the pressure. You know, everyone knows they're on the biggest show in the world tonight. And I think everyone's done very well. So, you know, in terms of Keenan, Sergio and Tug, brilliant. Well done on your podiums, guys. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I actually really enjoyed doing that for the rookies, so well done. That will be pretty much it from me. There's still 11 of you in, so thank you everybody that has watched. Everybody in the live chat that's put a comment on there, that said hello, that's got involved. I really appreciate that. It makes the evening. You know, we're all involved in this together. Any of you that have pressed like, awesome. If you haven't, come on, it's been 2 hours together. Please press like. And if you haven't subbed and you want to see more awesome action content, consider a sub. That would be awesome. James said a better race too. Yeah, you did very well, James, in race 2. I was impressed. And you, Rowdy. Well done, guys. So listen, I'm going to leave it with you now. I won't be with you tomorrow. I'll be back on Tuesday for the Super Sprints, and we'll start it all over again. So for now, ladies and gents, I'll love you and leave you. COMMS by Coops out.